Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Iron Brothers podcast. We have a third Iron Brother here today. His name is Grant Totori Glass, legally, also known as Grant Romer. Hey, buddy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Kyle, you want to welcome him?
Grant, it's been nice to welcome you to our second episode. Obviously, you're a man behind the scenes, but I think it's important that you get in front of the camera as well so people get to know you for who you are as a human being.
Can't wait till we get better guests.
I love your pronunciation when you talk. You pronunciate certain words like
Such as?
like you leave off like such as, and then you're waiting for the response.
Your inflection. That's what it is.
Is that what it is? That's
Yeah.
the word I don't know of.
So, where we want to begin today?
Well, let's start off with
Let's address the elephant in the room.
what's the elephant in the room?
There's an elephant?
You.
Kind of you. Yeah, you're huge.
But no,
Shrinking.
obviously, the three of us haven't really been seen together for quite some time. So I thought it'd be cool for them at least to see where we've been, what we've been doing, and like now since we're back, what we want to really just plan out.
This is what the episode is. It's talking about our breakup and our
Makeup.
breakup and makeup. Breakup and makeup. I like it. Where do you start? Where do we start on this one? Do we start off with how we found each other? No, we kind of did that. But
Yeah, I did that.
Grant?
Maybe from Grant's perspective, and then we could even talk about the roommate situation that didn't exist for entirely too long, and then the breakup. And
The inevitable.
finally-
Inevitably, the makeup.
well, now we make out and stuff.
Okay.
Let's not do that. Okay.
All right, Grant, I want you to take it away here. What's your perspective of the whole meeting meeting the Iron Brothers?
All right.
That's what we are.
Kyle, you were a big bad motherfucker. I was so afraid of you.
So we're talking back to when?
2019. When you were-
2019. Okay.
Oh, it was the first time I met him at my show, my first show.
You and I met you and Nick. And both of y'all just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Like, you did not crack a smile, I think, the entire weekend until you took the photo after the show when Ant won with Steve Weinberg.
Look
That was
at
like
that.
the first time I saw you smile. I was like, what the fuck?
At least you got to see him smile on the first day you met him.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it took me a good couple months.
But to be honest, no, when I first met you, my first impression was like, okay, like, he knows how to train, and like he doesn't fuck around basically. Like you did not you didn't joke like the way we do now. So very scary, very intimidating, but
You think I
ultimately-
joke now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, little is just completely random thing, but a good joke. 2 days ago, 2 days and 2 years ago was probably the funniest moment we ever lived with Kyle. Was in Stewart, where you decided to boogie board down a driveway during a rainstorm and fell.
You know, I was worried about getting hurt that day.
Well, little surprise to you, a year later you'd get hurt even worse. Anyways, so that was the first time I met Kyle
Yeah.
at my show.
First time I met you was July 19th.
Wow, you got the date. I'm gonna fact check this. Continue.
It's either July 19th or July 22nd. It's when
see.
you, Lex, Ryan Casey,
Brian Casey. I know he's watching this. I love you, man.
Zach Jennings, maybe? Yeah, he was there. You guys came to visit Dylan, Dave, Corn, Quinn, like the
And
whole.
this was in Jersey?
July
Yeah.
16th.
Really?
16th.
No. Oh,
Yeah, 16th.
fuck. And James, I forgot James, but you guys came down to visit, and that's kind of the first time I met you guys.
Yep.
I was friends with Dylan and Dave, and then Nick Simone, like he was the one who kind of like told me, he was like, oh, they're going to be down there. And then Dylan extended the olive branch to like have me actually down there. So that's the first time I met you.
Speak up a little. It's hard for me to genuinely just hear you right now.
Oh, that was the first time I met you.
Yep.
And to be honest, I don't think we didn't get into any like deep conversations, but the
No.
next thing I do remember was I was in Target with my mom and brother, and I got a phone call from you, and you said,
Yep.
hey man, like what are you doing for like
Show day, November 9th. Yeah.
for
I'm-
Easterns?
I got a
And
little
you
more
were-
details to that, though.
Yeah.
So my perspective on that was, that day when everyone was down in South Jersey, like the whole, I guess, Jersey squad, I guess it was called back then. I was excited to meet everyone. Like, I didn't know who you were really at the
Yeah.
time. I guess I knew you through Dylan's channel a little bit. You were doing his prep series at the time, right?
Yeah.
The first prep series you ever did.
Wow, yeah, that was.
So I remember I was just on like a super high of meeting Dave, meeting James. I mean, Dylan was there. Everyone was there. It was just
Yeah.
super cool. And we had such a cool workout that day. And you were just walking around, working out, taking photos of people. And I remember the one photo you got with me with the resistance band just like
Vanquish
warming up. Yeah. And I remember you sent them to me and I was like, this is sick. And I posted it and that was really it. And I just knew like Grant was good with the camera. Grant was good with this shit. So yeah, fast forward to what you were saying with show day. I kept you in mind because I was like, I want to record this. I can't record it. I'm the one competing. How do I do this? So then that's when I hit you up. And then, yeah, that's when you agreed on to do a show day video.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and then from there we just kind of.
Rest is history.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how I met you guys.
Yep. You met Kyle through me.
Yeah.
And then all that type of stuff happened. So,
Kyle, what was your first impression of me?
Of you? I didn't know if you were a fan. I didn't know what you were.
of you or me?
Him. I didn't know. He was just there at the time. And
Like,
then
what
we
do you
had
mean a fan?
camera,
A
so
fan
I didn't
who?
know if you had hired him, if he was
Oh,
working for someone else.
Yeah.
You were quiet. I mean, I guess, again, I don't perhaps come off the most approachable, I've heard.
We know this.
Yes.
So, asking for acceptance.
Our conversations were minimal, but
Yeah.
you were bubbly, very vibrant. And that was the first time, for sure, that I saw you. And then from there, I'm trying to think when I saw you again, because after that Eastern show, you disappeared. You put on some weight.
He did.
I did nationals.
He did
National. Were you there?
Yeah, he was
well,
in
we're doing that,
nationals.
so I forgot. You're right. I'm thinking of after that. So, yeah, that was the beginning of our relationship, and then we had a
Yeah.
nice 3-week run after that, because
Yeah.
nationals was pretty much around the corner.
Yeah. It was
Yep.
like right after Thanksgiving or like right before it. I remembered.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, fucking COVID hit, and then that's kind of.
Yeah, COVID, you were hidden.
My God, we have our biggest fan. Come here. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Hello, Allie.
I'll see you now.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I can't add into anything.
I mean,
I mean, for you to stand there, interrupt the podcast, and just say hi is kind of a disappointment.
I don't know what are you guys talking about.
we're talking about how I met them.
I wasn't there for that, so no comment.
Yep.
Fair. That's fair.
The mic barely probably picked that up anyways. But
That's okay.
yeah, so nationals happened. And Grant was there for that. Helped film that video. I did shit at nationals, man. Whatever that was. Kind of rebounded.
25 in 3 days.
20. Did you say 30 or 3?
25 in 3.
Yeah. And then we kind of all went our separate ways for a little bit. Not that we ever like said bye to each other, but I was now
we weren't
depressed.
as close. We weren't as close as we are now at that
Yeah,
point.
I was depressed. Kyle, I don't know what the fuck you were doing. And then quarantine kind of happened.
Yeah.
I was a senior in high school at this time. Grant, were you in college? What were you doing?
I was, yeah. So I was doing school at Stockton, but
Uh-huh.
then when COVID hit, I was just all online.
Yeah.
And you were kind of stuck home for a bit.
Yeah.
Your whole body for the
Yes, that was
duration of quarantine.
crazy.
That's when I started to kind of meet
Yeah.
with them a little bit more. Train a
Yeah.
bit more, and
That was like
until
8 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grant was in lockdown.
And then
your
you
mom
resurrected.
all you down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he film for your North Americans prep?
Yeah.
Remember that? He didn't
I
film for the
drove
prep.
out.
I know he
I
came to
did-
Pittsburgh, but I'm saying
Yeah.
before that.
Oh
was
no,
you.
I did my own prep there.
No, right?
That was actually a good prep series. That's when Road to Pro kind of really started for me.
Yeah.
I had to hold the camera a lot, and I was.
Yeah, you
I had
held
a hard
it.
time
You were-
breathing into the,
Yes.
the mic a bit.
You want to know why I did that myself? Want to know what it was? I had requirements from Gymshark to hit a certain amount of posts, and it was July, and it was the last week of July, so I had 7 days, and I only got one video out the whole month. So I was like, "Fuck, I gotta get 3 videos out this last week." But I wasn't gonna just like let it go. So I was like, "I'm gonna do this." I recorded 3 videos. One was the leg day, one was like a back workout, one was something else, and they all got like 90K to almost 100K views.
That's awesome.
And I was like, "Yo, like that was sick." So that motivated me to finish out the prep series and did really well. That's when everything kind of worked out in my favor. I met Jesse and shit like that afterwards.
Yeah.
But then North Americans happened, and then that's when Grant came to film that again. You were still under strict ruling.
Yeah, that's when I was able to like then at least like if I wore a mask and if I went out there I could go.
Yes.
But yeah,
I remember
did,
that.
I had to drive separately, so I followed you guys.
5-hour drive.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then
I
that
drove,
night you had to drive home.
Yeah,
which
then
is
I
insane.
drove back. But I mean, bro, that show day actually did like
It did good. 'Cause
Yeah.
once again, I think I was in a good, like the algorithm favored me. I
Yeah.
was in a good spot. I think that show day has
over 300.
I forget. It's over 300K views, and then I got another video after that, and it was like post show day something. We ate donuts and shit like that.
Yeah.
It also got a lot of views.
I just remember the thumbnails like you mid curl.
Mid curl, yeah, that was so funny. It's gonna be a little sidetrack because this came to my mind now, but because like me being a YouTuber, right? I kind of like obviously assess like how views are doing and videos are doing and stuff. I'm in a phase right now of assessing my content where I want to go in a couple months from now. But I remember during that time period, like I mentioned, when end of July happened, I saw my views get to like 100K. I was like, wow, I got to continue this because I'm like hot right now. And that show day did well. It was so simple back then for me to do YouTube. I remember just seeing like, I would just vlog my whatever the shit it was. People ate it up. And then the thumbnails was just the best photo I could possibly find of myself, either in the video or a photo I took. I would use my phone to edit it, not even a real Photoshop app. It would be Photoshop Express. I would either mirror the photos, so it was literally two of me on the screen. I put my own text on it and publish it. I could post them whenever, middle of the day, 3 a.m. sometimes, whenever, and it just did good.
And
But
why do you think now
it's different?
Do you think it's more difficult now because you self-assess and you critique everything, or do you think it's like a saturated market, so that's why it's a little tougher?
I think that it's just changed a lot with TikTok coming out.
Yeah.
When TikTok came out, it became competition for all these other social media brands like YouTube and Instagram. So that's why they changed their own algorithm and stuff. And also think about it, with TikTok being such a quick app, like kind of how Vine was, people prefer these short types of content now. So now like long YouTube videos, stuff like that aren't really doing too hot. Unless you have a personality, which you have things that are constantly happening every couple of seconds or every couple of minutes. Like, great example, trend twins are hysterical, right? Something funny every couple of minutes. Versus like a vlog where you're going about your day has to be like faster paced now. So you gotta assess that shit.
Gotcha.
But it was definitely like, I guess since I started out in that time period, like couple before TikTok, it was easier because like the recipe was just simple. And then now, since companies changed, you got to go with the change.
The algorithm has definitely changed. But I do think, for you at least, for your specific channel, I still think like your community and your viewers, they still eat it up. Like when you just do like your normal day-to-day sit-down stuff.
Yeah, but
with
then
the certain tweaks, like making it a little quicker, it'll definitely help for the new viewers. But at the end of the day, I do think it's just because you're just out of the algorithm. As of right now. But like once you're back and you're consistent, it's like, I honestly think like if we keep it simple and like true to you, people will appreciate that over everything. And like you'll kind of see the algorithm kind of just slowly work back in your favor. That's how I
haven't, because like I've been
hopeful for that.
I've been assessing myself with how my content's been going, and coming when I can start training again, I'm ready to go fucking fire my gun. I don't know what the fuck saying I'm trying to get here, but I've assessed my content right now. It's what I want to do. And I'll just tell you now. I'll talk about this later, but I want to do like daily vlogs, how Grant's doing, but simplistic and faster pace. I want to get what is the YouTube? Is it like 8 minutes now or 7 minutes, something like that? For
8 minutes.
The ads.
8 minutes to get middle video ads and beyond. I would say a good time frame for you is like 8 to 12 minutes.
I was gonna say I think 8 to 10 minutes would be a good time frame for me to get daily videos out, and I think daily videos are doing very good right now. A great example is Sam Sulik, right? He's posting daily videos, and I just want to do daily vlogs and have my workout portion be like 3 minutes, maybe like about half of the video.
Unless if it's a topic video where it's like, say if like you're actually going over like a tip in the video.
So, yeah, and also a big thing I want to do is like fucking actually vlog like how you used to see me vlog and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that when I can train again. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Basically change my content to be shorter, faster pace, and for me to actually pick up my own camera and vlog. Because I think people like that.
Getting back, I guess, to our relationship, our core relationship,
correct?
Right. I'd say after, I guess that following that COVID year is when we started to kind of have more of a stronger bond, I'd say, with one another, to where we would converse on the side. Obviously, we were chatting pretty daily, especially in prep. And then I guess let's take us through, I guess, all the way up to the point where we were sitting down on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday early evening.
Sunday fun day.
Wow, you just fast forward. Yeah.
So I would definitely say let's work backwards a little bit, just because one huge like chunk of time where I think not only did you and I like
connect
become
more,
very close, but then even you and I
too, Kyle,
was when we moved to LA.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time then you were actually my coach, because like I didn't really compete.
And that
I
was
didn't do
February 2020 or January 2020?
January
2021.
Grant knows the date. It says
January 14th, 2021.
There you go. It says
yeah. That's the day I proposed.
Yep, there you go.
So I remember that pretty heavily. But I mean, so moving from that is definitely where I'd say like you and I became like super close. I mean, granted, we were literally sharing the same bedroom,
Yeah.
And I tell you, this kid, even when we first got there, by like 2 weeks in, it was like a sea of clothes between either Gymshark or Young LA. Like it was up to our shins the
That was
entire
so
room.
funny. That's
we
a
could
great
not
memory.
walk in the room.
But it was in a corner, I will say.
It was starting to creep up to like half of the room at one point.
What happened was I moved out there to the suitcase, right? Obviously, that's all I had. And I see, Kyle, you're eager to get to the Florida part, but we got to talk about LA first.
No, I'm listening.
So
That's where we got to meet Flipper.
the
in
day,
LA.
the day before like, moving out, I remember Grant helped me pack. Grant's
Yeah.
an older brother, dude. He's really good with all that type of stuff. He helped me pack. I remember the flight there, whatever. And then, yeah, I had this little suitcase. I was getting packers from Gymshark, just getting some more clothes in my closet. Felt good. And Young LA hit me up and then gave me I remember we counted. I was like close to 80 items in my first package. So I literally had like they gave me more items than I originally had in my suitcase. So I was like, this is dope. Like I now got clothes for going out, clothes for everything.
Yeah.
And that was a big reason why I switched from Gymshark to Young LA was because they had a variety of clothes, including lifestyle, streetwear, including jeans and dress pants and all that type of shit. That was cool. So yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, what would happen was I was lazy doing laundry. I just threw everything I possibly could in the wash on cold, whites, blacks, reds, whatever, everything in there. And then I wouldn't want to hang everything up right away. So it kind of just, I would throw it in my room, clean pile, dirty pile, and they're kind of close to each other. So I wouldn't know and I have to sniff it, you know? I do that method. It was gross, but dude, like think about it. That was my like freshman year of college type of
Yeah.
thing.
That's
You
true.
know? So I guess it was acceptable for the time being. But the situation of our room really wasn't, besides the clothes, wasn't too bad.
No.
We had
For what
our
it-
beds.
For what it was, like
It was
I was
good.
like perfect.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
all
the
we
perfect
needed.
timing.
Yeah.
Perfect space.
Yep.
We got the perfect opportunity to network, like especially with Jesse.
Yeah.
Like I definitely will say like the most I ever learned in terms of like what I do now was probably that LA time chunk in terms
Damn.
of just like time management, efficiency, how to like cut a video quicker. Because I'll tell you, like Jesse, even though like he's like in the front, dude, he knows how to edit videos like
Yeah.
like proficiently. Like kudos to Jesse.
Yeah, he's a workhorse. Remember, if his editor didn't get his video out correctly or in time, he would be like, he'd go in his room and he'd be like, fuck, I gotta do this all myself. And he'd just be sitting there and like, don't talk to me. He'd do it all himself. Edit his video how he'd want to. Obviously, wouldn't like to do it, but he
Yeah.
would get it done if he had to get it done.
Yeah.
So, crazy, man.
Definitely.
So that was like your freshman year of college, so I think it's different for a lot of people. I guess the traditional route is to go
Yeah.
to school, go away and dorm with a roommate. You guys were roommates, and that
Yeah.
was your
Yeah.
freshman year.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun times. Like that was honestly, I never want to go to college, but I'm very happy that I had an experience like that. So yeah, during that LA time period, obviously I was still bodybuilding, and Grant decided to pick up a show too. For what was the reason, Grant?
So I can get backstage.
Yep. So funny enough, with the NPC, it was kind of hard for Grant to get backstage footage.
Yeah.
Now they sell backstage passes, but back then they used to be like competitors only.
Yeah, you needed
So
to
Grant-
have an NPC card.
Grant was like, you know what? I got a trick up my sleeve. I'm gonna just compete myself.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. It kept us in a good routine. We
Yeah.
literally were on the same time schedule.
Yep.
We'd wake up at the same time, like without an alarm, just kind of wake up.
Like around like 8
Yeah.
LA time, so it'd be
Yes.
like
11 here. And then we would eat one meal and train, do cardio afterwards, eat post workout, and then we'd bring our meals and hang out with like some of our TikTok friends, whatever it was.
Where'd we vlog?
What's that?
Vlog.
Vlog, yeah,
Yeah.
just do whatever. And that was really cool. And obviously I did a prep out there because I don't know why I was in a phase of prepping really quickly. I don't know why. Maybe it was content. I don't know what it was.
For what?
Why did I do that show?
Well, you had it in your head even before we got there, just because.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna do a prep out there because I wanted to
Yeah.
train with Jeremy Buendia, who I thought lived out there but never did,
Yeah. So
or moved out way a little bit before I got
I think it
there.
was just a goal when you stepped off stage the year prior. You just said, "Hey, this is like something I want to do."
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you set yourself up for obviously things in Jersey and the East Coast was much different with COVID. A lot of restrictions. Couldn't
Yeah.
really train at all. So you went out there where everything was kind of, I don't know, a lot of freedom to say the least.
Was
Well-
it because of your November trip when you took?
'Cause
Remember-
what?
Do you remember you went to LA like a few months earlier with Dave?
That's the reason why I moved out to LA, but I don't know why I decided to compete at that show. I guess I was still chasing the road to bro
Yeah,
type
you
of
were just
thing.
eager to kind of get back on stage as
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
as possible. And that was like the main. That would be a year mark.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did that series, and then obviously just kind of had the idea of Road to Pro Series out in LA. My goal was to train with people like Jeremy Buendia, who I thought lived out there, but never did. So I trained with other people. We got, who did we get? We got Danny Hester.
Chris.
That's it for really bodybuilders. Chris, we went back to Jersey for Chris, but yeah, that was in the series. Got Chris Bumstead in that.
That's
and
at
then
like 500,000 views.
who else?
Technically, bodybuilders.
That was really it.
Yeah, you had people with good physiques, like for example, Devin Bernardo. I think that was before prep though.
Yeah, that was
kind of more of a humor-based workout.
We had collabs for sure, but not like ones with bodybuilders. But anyways, then while the series was going on, obviously we're trying to think of content to be entertaining and like what would honestly be really cool for viewers to see. So that's when we had the idea to get Kyle out to LA because I don't think you were ever out in LA before,
That
right?
was my first time.
So we decided to get you out there and to have more hands-on approach as we were approaching closer to show. It wasn't just for content either. It was also for like, shit, I'm like 6 weeks out now. It's getting closer to the wire. I need help with posing. I want you to see it in person. And that's what we did. And those were honestly some of the best videos I can honestly think of.
Yeah.
They were doing hot at the time, got a lot of views, and just they were hysterical. They were good.
fun.
They were funny.
I had to break character a little bit for some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
you
the
did.
best, bro.
Yeah.
It was so funny. The full day of eating, you went to go get donuts. They were shitty donuts. We trained at the Wish Mansion.
Oh my
That was
God,
remember that?
yeah.
That was fun. We were playing some soccer a little bit, you and I.
Yep.
And then what else did we take Kyle to?
In and out. You
Strip
guys.
club.
Right.
Your ex-girlfriend would have killed you.
At the time, for sure.
In and
She
out.
did kill you anyways, even though you did nothing bad.
Yeah.
Apparently I did, though. I remember. But that was a good experience out there. I mean, it was my
Yeah.
first time out there, and
Gary
couldn't
hooked
really-
you up too.
yeah, it was the first time I went to Young LA Warehouse, and
yeah.
maybe I had a few items, but
You had like
never
40.
anything. And then I went there, and he's just like, "Oh, what do you want?"
And you shipped it back, right? To
Yeah.
your crib?
Yeah, and I had so much stuff that I had to ship it back.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, so that was my first experience. He was super welcoming, to say the
Yeah.
least. and
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary. We love
that was
you.
awesome.
So during
Now.
that time period, obviously, you got closer with all of us. And then obviously what helped too, I guess, was winning the show. I saw Kyle be like, fuck yeah. Good
That's
shit.
two. That's two, baby.
That was it. And then we're walking back. It's like, oh, I didn't get the video on stage. Yeah, I rewatch that clip sometimes. It's a good clip. That was a good time. Oh, look at him. He got a little tear in his eye, man.
No tear. I want 3 next time.
I do too. That qualifier, I want to win all
Change
3.
the rules and say you can't do that.
What's that? Did I
I want
change
them
the
to change the rules.
Yeah. That'd be so funny. It'd be so cool. We got to do it.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But
that's
anyways.
sick.
So yeah, won that show. We just had a really good time that year with all of us, right?
It was like there was such a good rhythm,
Yeah.
and we were honestly like everyone was just so. We were on like each other's same like schedule almost. It was weird. It was like there was no disconnect, and there was no like. For example, like the first few weeks in Florida, like
Yeah.
the back and forth, like that was the complete opposite of kind
Of what we had.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into soon.
Yeah.
We got to continue on this track of the timeline here.
So I think at the time your content was doing the best it's ever done. Obviously
Yeah.
your physique was looking great, but I think it was like effortless.
Yeah.
You didn't really plan. So a lot of people try to ask like, "Oh, how do you get into it?" I'm sure they asked you, "What can I do better?" They
Yeah.
asked you, "What can you
Yeah.
do better from a content side of creating things?"
We were just having fun.
I think it was just having fun together.
Yeah, it was just doing
No stress.
our lives and people enjoyed
Exactly.
it. So that was cool. Then we also had a really good time together at the next show, which was 4 weeks later
Universe.
in what was that show called?
South
Oh,
Carolina?
Universe. It was
Was
Universe.
that South Carolina or North Carolina?
South Carolina, Charleston.
South,
Yeah.
But we had a really fun time post show. Remember that? We stayed up for like 24 hours. Went to Waffle
Went to the
House.
Waffle House and ordered pancakes
With a
which
special
I guess
guest?
you can't really do apparently.
No.
So
So
Dave asked for ketchup with his waffle.
You remember the pickup line the lady gave Dave?
oh, with that wagon you drag, that right? That was funny. Yeah, that was good. That was a fun time too. And then I remember after that show, I was like continuing with my video ideas, stuff like that. And then after I posted my car video, we went to Florida,
Yeah.
right, to go look at houses.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
the sun. Yep.
Because this is when I had the good idea. I was like, you know what? I had this idea kind of stuck out to me. I was like, why don't the next prep series, why don't it be in Florida? It's like all the bodybuilders, or not all, but you got Chris Bumstead, you got Ian, you had
Nick.
at the time. There's some good bodybuilders out there. And I was like, dude, that kind of be cooler than LA because now you got legit bodybuilders in this area. It's kind of like the
The hub.
Yeah, the
And
hub.
I guess the first time we kind of discussed that as a trio
Yeah.
was that Sunday Fun Day. We were going to start to film
Yes.
a series where we ate at different restaurants every Sunday.
And then it just never happened.
We had one episode pretty much, and then we decided we were going to move across the
Can we
country
bring it
instead.
back?
Can we talk about why that episode happened?
Yeah, sure. Let's start that
That's
episode.
a you story.
Sunday Fun Day, right? That was a video where we went out to a nice restaurant and we ate, chatted, had fun.
Me and Kyle had the tomahawk.
You guys
for
ate a
two.
tomahawk. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forget what I ate.
It was not that big, bro.
No, they never are.
So the reason why the Sunday Fun Day happened was actually because a girl at the time I was talking to from this gym, wonder if she's here right now, I don't think so, was into me a little too more than I was into her. And after prep was done, she wanted me to take her out to somewhere to eat. And I remember like, just not being totally into her. She Alex says, I was like, I guess you got a Chick-fil-A because like that's what you had on my meal plan. You're like, cheat day, Chick-fil-A, this meal. Just kind of lame, Kyle. But like I didn't really care either, so I said to her, she's like, ugh, I don't do Chick-fil-A. I was like, okay. I was like, you tell me where you want to go. Name your favorite restaurants. You tell me where you want to go. And she named the place we went to as one of them. And then I remember she was kind of pushy. She's like, I can make the reservations right now if you want me to. And I was like, God damn, man. I was like, I think I said like go for it or something like that. And then I canceled because I was busy. And then I had to get her. I just had to let her go. I didn't want anything more to do with it. I was like, this is a headache. I didn't want to do it. So I took her out for half off sushi at a restaurant.
Classy.
Dude, do I get into this?
Yes.
Like deep?
Please.
So I was just casual. I wore, what are they called? Like cargo short type of things and a Young LA shirt. I remember getting in her driveway. She was like, I'll be out in 5. I'm like, all right. This is so good. I'm on my phone. I'm in my car. And I see like in the, the peripherals, like something walking. I look up. I was like, oh my God. She was wearing a very provocative outfit. It was just a lot of Cleveland showing, but she has that too. And I was like, damn, she's in for a surprise when it's not a fancy restaurant. She was dressed up. I took her off to half off sushi and she didn't like it. So I remember like just driving her back home after half off sushi. No kiss, no nothing. Just wanted to like, bye-bye. I wanted to do like a good deed. Just so it could be done. So that's what I did. And then I took my boys out to Cousins.
Oh, we're gonna say it now.
Oh, we said the restaurant? We didn't say before?
It's okay.
It's all good.
I took my boys out to the restaurant. And then funny enough, who do we see there? The girl. She was in shock. She was, remember that?
Yeah, she was a
She
little
walks over there
disappointed,
like,
I think.
she was like, hey, or like, hi. Yeah, that was fucking funny. But I wasn't awkward. I just laughed my ass off.
Dude, that was hilarious.
And I have a feeling one of them's going to be watching the video. So no bad blood. It was just a really funny story.
Yeah.
I will talk if you, yeah, that's it.
Hi.
So anyway, at that
Sunday Fun Day where we were eating at Cousins, we kind of discussed the idea of what I had moving down to Florida for the next Road to Pro series. So, I mean, I remember the gist of it, I'm sure, which was the idea I had of like moving down there. We're trying to figure out what do we want to do, like a rental house, apartments, what do you want to do? Kyle, take it away. What did we talk about?
So I recall, I think I mentioned next steps. You were talking about somewhere to go, and I think you had a dream within that week or the week prior of Florida for some reason. So when I mentioned Florida, you were like, "Yes, this I had a dream for a reason."
Yeah.
It wasn't
Obviously, Grant was. You're gonna follow along because that was your job essentially. Right?
Yeah.
With Grant. So we went down there, and I think we were just gonna rent at first because we didn't want to get locked into anything.
Yeah.
Perhaps that would have been the right move. However, we were training one day when you had mentioned, hey, I was speaking with my mom, who Mrs. Mantel was a real estate agent back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And she said, why don't you guys do the right thing and invest in a property and go from there? And I said, you know what? Like, good idea. So we took a trip down middle of August of 21.
The worst
Looked at
month
a
to
few
go to Florida.
properties, probably eight to 10 properties in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Who was the kid that helped us again? We kind of like
Sea Dog.
Sea Dog.
Yeah. Was it?
It
name's
was Colton.
Colton.
Yes, Colton.
That was so funny.
Primary team.
When we were looking at houses, remember I put up this $1 million beautiful house with like a backyard that was exquisite and a little bit out of our price range, but yeah. So I went down to Florida, looked at some houses, and then we chose the right house.
We chose the right house. We were down to 2. You remember one?
Yeah.
The only reason we didn't choose the one was like more like a bachelor pad. It's nicer for sure in Port St. Lucie.
Oh,
recall?
I remember that one.
Had
Yeah.
like 7 bedrooms. Had its
Yes.
own like
Yeah.
place above the garage.
Yeah.
It was like own apartment
I
almost.
don't remember this actually.
You don't remember that house?
I remember. I remember the house you're talking.
You remember.
Yeah.
So we
Probably in
wanted to
the
go
email.
with the one we went with in Palm
Yeah.
City because it was a better area. So if we ever
Yes, I
wanted
remember.
to-
I remember the situation was we didn't want to go to Port St. Lucie because the schooling system and
Yes.
who's gonna get this house was another family, right? And they weren't gonna move there because
Exactly.
of the area.
it was
Yes.
it was like a bachelor's pad pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, we chose that house based on making smart decisions. And
Uh-huh.
what happened next?
Shit hit the fan.
Yeah, it was
never
kind of.
got started. I feel it was like
It never officially had a good start. It was kind of a recipe for disaster.
And I think that's more of a, I guess when I look back, right, I think it's an opportunity to learn from. And I think communication amongst us, we had a good
Yeah.
bond,
Yeah.
but we weren't always honest. And I don't think it's because we were, we wanted to lie to one another, but I think maybe we didn't want to let each other down.
Yeah.
So you were under the impression that we would all be down there at the same time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right? Where you said, hey, I'm going to need a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of different moving parts, but we never really were all down there at the same time, I think. So we had the house total of 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So September 14th, I think we moved in, and
Yep.
we were out by February 1st. And I'd say of those 5 months, maybe 40 days we were all together, probably.
Yeah.
So can we get into everything?
Yeah. I'm done.
get into everything.
Yeah.
All right. So when we moved down there, right, I remember I took a train with Grant. We took a train because that was a convenient way to get my car down there without having to pay for a
Car
truck
shipment.
type
Yeah.
of thing, right? Instead of flying type. So it was the cheapest way to do it. That was fun. It was a good time. And when I got down there, I remember Grant was like, "Oh, I got to go back up." I was lost. I remember you telling me about that. So I was
Yeah.
like, "You do?" I was like, "Yeah." And then he went up, and then it was you came down quickly after that, right? I wasn't there. I was never alone there. So
No,
you were
we
down
met at
there.
the house. We had to sign paperwork and stuff.
Yes. So I think that was the first thing was when Grant went back, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't know Grant was leaving that quick.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that kind of happened, which wasn't that bad. Because then you came down like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah,
No?
so for me, what the issue was just because it was a big shock to, like, I was in a place where, like, I was trying to do the right thing just because, granted, like, when we left for LA, I did not give my family, like, much of a heads up, and then
Uh-huh.
we were gone for basically 6 months.
Yeah.
And then when we came back, within 2 months, we were gone again.
Yep.
So I was just trying to phase out and like trying to at least give her like some time and go back and forth. When I look back at it, my biggest fault was like when we did agree to doing it. When I said I needed a few months, I should have went into more detail and said like, hey, like I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So I'll be up from these days and be back in Jersey these days. Like I wish back then, because I feel like it would have helped a lot, I could have given like exact dates.
Yeah.
Because it really just revolved around the holidays too. Because like for me, it's tough because all of the birthdays and holidays happen in that holiday season. Like it's my mom's birthday in October. Halloween is a big thing for her because of Griffin, my brother.
Uh-huh.
My birthday's in November. Then it's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year. So it's just a bunch of hits.
Yeah.
At the worst time possible. But I definitely feel like I definitely dropped the ball on communicating all those scheduled dates because, yeah, like you said, like when we did take the car train, which was fucking.
When what? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
When we did end up taking the car train, that was fun.
Yeah.
I just remember like that because that was my first time doing that. I was like, what the fuck is this thing?
Oh yeah,
man?
same. That was cool. It was interesting.
But yeah, then after that, then I got down, and then it was the jumping like a freaking leapfrog back and forth. And then I just remember like for us, it was so difficult to like kind of lock in terms of like, okay, let's film. Like, what are we going to film? How are we going to post? Because we were struggling to like kind of restart the wheel of like, okay, we kind of had to deal with like me jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
So let's just try to like stockpile some videos, and then when you get back, we'll film and then do the same thing. And ultimately, like both of us just, I don't think we were ever able to come back to be like in sync at that
Yeah.
point. So then shit just started collapsing slowly.
Kyle, do you have anything to add on?
No, I think that created a rift in you guys for
Yeah.
sure.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it's hard to kind of fix things right away,
Yeah.
right? Time is the only thing that heals sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure. There's definitely a lot of changes moved down to Florida. I'm trying to think what I could say.
Yeah.
I remember at first we moved down there when we did that boys trip, like when we were looking at houses. I didn't know girlfriends were coming. I remember that was a shock to me because I didn't know. And we guys like, oh, my girlfriend's coming. My girlfriend's coming. I was like, I think about it. I never had a girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
so I didn't know that was normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess both of us were in the impression that I guess because it wasn't like a permanent, like we were gonna live down there, but the
Yeah.
other ones were gonna float back and forth, perhaps,
Yes.
because they both had jobs up north.
Yeah.
And then I guess you felt left out, so that's when you happened to meet someone before we moved down, and that definitely created
Yeah.
a little bit of an interesting dynamic for you, right?
Yeah, it was just like it's such weird timing for everything to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I met Allie about 3 weeks, or I met her beforehand, but that's when we started getting serious, like 3 weeks before I moved.
Right.
And with the timing of having to move permanently down there, it kind of escalated. Is that what I'm looking for? Like
Yeah.
kind of fast paced in our relationship to make it more serious and figure out what we were doing. So having, I guess, a girl in Jersey for me, but never dating her, made me feel type of loneliness maybe in Florida. Yeah, because I remember I was on
Yeah.
my phone a lot. I was talking to her a lot.
Yeah.
And then not having my friend Grant down there either too, like with just me and you were on prep,
Yeah.
right? And then you were not in the best situation yourself either, so you were kind of like mean sometimes, which I remember you being. This is the only time I ever like seen you being mean to me.
Right.
Which also like, sure, was I the best person? No, but like we had a situation going on, and then the one person that I could go to for comfort wasn't even here.
Right.
So it was just like such a weird situation we
It
all
was a
had
weird
going.
dynamic, and again, I always
Yeah.
put myself in other people's shoes. Had
Yeah.
I been 19 at the time, you were 19, right?
Yeah.
Move again. College was fast forwarded for you. You graduated after your freshman year in LA.
Yeah.
So we're moving down there, and it's like where we lived, great area for families. For a kid, not so much. There's not much to do.
I remember it sucked, dude. I remember like I had Brittany down there, my Mercedes, and it just like there was old people everywhere. Couldn't drive fast. Not that I like driving fast is like something I like to do, but I remember like when you're behind an old person, bro, you're like fucking go, right?
Yeah.
It just sucked,
Yeah.
and there was like nothing for me to really do down there that I enjoyed.
No.
I didn't like get myself familiar with the area. I'm not one to also go out to clubs or anything like that. I like my friends, which I was missing one at the time,
Yeah.
and then you were in prep too, so you're serious.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do stuff with you. We had water gun fights like one day. That was fun as shit.
That was probably the funnest times I can remember.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
asked me for good times.
Florida, yeah.
Those are the moments that come. And
Yeah.
then I guess everything progressively just went. It was like a snowball that never ended until it did.
Yeah.
The end. Yeah, so then I remember like as things continued going onwards, as Grant was mentioning with the holidays coming up and everything like that, right? I took that as time for me to have an excuse to go up to Jersey.
Yeah.
I remember like remember there was like Halloween. Man, it wasn't Halloween. I don't remember. I went up for like, your show.
Yes.
Your show,
November 6th.
and then a couple weeks later was Thanksgiving, so I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna fly down there, they come back and stuff like that. I was like, I'm just gonna stay up here.
Yeah.
So like I was not in the Florida house for a good period of time.
And this is also when you had I would say, a life-changing decision you had made when
But-
you were
Yeah.
one supplement
having a
company.
girl. Oh yeah, that also happened, stuff like that.
That was definitely a lot of stress for a situation for you.
It was
in
stressful
your
because it was a big change for me. It was a bigger change than I thought it would be.
Right.
So yeah, there was stress through that, stress through the house, and then on top of that, I then had a girlfriend, which wasn't stressful. It was happiness that I was finding to. That was the only happiness I really had going on.
Right.
So that's what I always resorted to, was going to my
Yeah.
newfound
Where you're
girlfriend.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was always in New Jersey at the time, and kind of leaving the house like abandoned. I wasn't really going there.
Yeah.
And then I remember, as things just progressively got worse with everything down in Florida, I just remember right around New Year's, you called me and you're like, what do you want to do with this house? Do you want to sell it? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately it was a dream that was short-lived because I
Yes.
think we didn't realize
How much?
everything that went into it. And I guess at that point, I realized like relationships are a lot of work, right? With friendships. And so speaking with you guys,
Yeah.
I saw we had a weird dynamic the first time ever.
Yes.
You were just thinking about moving down there, and again,
Yeah.
we weren't having that communication that I think really takes and what allows relationships to grow is communicating and being honest with each other, and that's hard work. So it was just more when I remember I had that conversation with you, was I was very aware you weren't happy. Right? You never came to me and said, "Hey, I'm not happy,"
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
written all over your face. Your
Yeah,
actions.
yeah, yeah.
You weren't the same person, and I just saw that progressively getting worse.
Yeah.
And then you were moving down there at the time, for like full time for
Yeah, for good,
for
finally.
sure this
Yeah.
time. And it was just like, before you do this, can we like nip this in the butt before things get worse?
Yeah.
And that's when we decided that the best move would be to kind of abandon ship, go back
Yeah.
to our roots
Yeah.
in Jersey.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a man was left behind in the process.
Breakup. That
It
is
was.
when the
But-
breakup happened.
The breakup almost had you too. Remember that? You guys sent me the talk. You were going to stay in Florida too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to, can I talk about that? You want to talk about that? Or is that not really important?
That's up to you.
What do you think?
I feel like it doesn't matter at this point. I mean, hey, you're not the one that is.
All right, let's just say Kyle was supposed to train someone at the time. It was very short-lived.
Yeah.
it
that's
was
why
like a
you
month,
were.
yeah.
What'd you say?
It was pretty much just a month. You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of. Again, I think it links back. One thing I want people to like take out of it is just communication is like
Key.
integral
Yeah.
part of life.
Yeah.
And there's communication that just wasn't happening between people. So I guess I tried to always take the approach of how can I fix things? I look for
Yeah.
a problem and I'm solution based. So I'm like, okay, these two people aren't communicating. What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Can I work and be
The mediator.
the
so to
mediator,
speak.
right? Let it fall on me. And that it did, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I was going to stay down there with you. We were thinking
Yeah.
about, again, we don't want to buy something and get stuck here because
Yeah.
you still weren't sure what you wanted to do. You didn't really have an opportunity job-wise
Yes.
until we left. Then you had a great opportunity.
Yeah.
That helps you grow a little bit for sure. And we had moved back to Jersey. We both, you're still at the same place. We're both still at our same respective locations back here in Jersey thus far since we've returned.
How do you guys feel?
Yeah.
Much more at ease, much happier. Like looking back at it, do you have any regrets that
With what? Regrets of what and what concern?
like coming back?
Coming back here? I mean, I remember the situation. Something Kyle told me that like, I won't forget is I fucked him up for getting a house because of getting a house and then I guess selling. I don't know how it works in terms of banks and money and whatnot, but
Right.
I
had
remember.
the corporate job. So when you get a mortgage,
Oh yes, yes,
right, you
yeah.
need to show statements. And at the
Stubs.
time, I had just gotten into coaching. Like I said, I never got into coaching for a career. I just did it
Yeah.
as a hobby, and I thought I
Yes.
could do a better job than most people.
Yeah.
And I finally, when we were down there, October 21, they wanted me to start going back into the office, and obviously now I'm in another state, so I'm not going to take a plane ride back.
Yeah.
So I quit my corporate job,
Yeah.
and the only thing I can do is start my own LLC coaching-wise. So here I am, taking the next steps in life, taking that jump that most people never take.
Uh-huh.
And then shit just hit the fan. We sold the house, and then I realized, like, hey, I have nothing to show for income anymore because I'm no longer working
Employed
for
by
that
them.
corporate job.
Yeah.
And I just started this LLC, so they want some longevity
Yeah.
to make sure that, hey, this person's making X income.
You can afford
and
a
it's not
mortgage, yeah.
just, an increase
Yeah.
shown and inflation shown for 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was frustrating, but it wasn't really your fault. It was more of like, hey, we just really made a poor decision here.
Yeah.
If we had rented like we were going to,
It wouldn't have been a
Would've
big
been
deal.
different.
we would have broke a contract, lost some money,
Yeah.
and that was that.
Clean
Fuck,
your
man,
hands.
that would have been way smarter. But hey, at least I mean we said it before, but we didn't lose money on the house,
Thank
right?
God.
In terms of everything,
That's
we
like-
probably.
yeah.
I remember me and you in the car. You're like, we only gained $1,000.
You don't realize, so when you go to buy and sell house with the attorney fees and all that, and the
Oh my
percentages,
God.
I think we wind up
Closing
selling the house for
costs.
$80,000 more.
More.
But when everything was said and done, we just had broke even. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Because of the moving
Damn,
costs,
man.
the closing costs.
Not even
the
that. No,
attorney
moving. No,
fees.
including moving. I lost money because I paid for the moving truck and shit. Yeah, it was
Wow.
It was like 10 grand in total.
we lost a little bit of money. But again,
Yeah.
they hit, compared to where we were in our life,
Yeah.
who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
Right? We would have maybe not even communicated. We'd never have been here today, perhaps, if we kept
Yeah.
continued living there and forcing the situation. It just wasn't working out. So I think
No.
that was the hardest pill to swallow was like, damn, I can't believe we made this poor of a decision. you know?
I'm like I didn't care about any of the money loss or anything. I just wanted to be happy again.
Yes.
I remember I tried forfeiting a lot of money. I wanted to be happy again.
Yeah.
Right. I just I didn't care. I just needed happiness. I was in such a weird state.
Mental. Yeah.
Yeah. So that brought me to I almost just said my apartment building. I went to my apartment now. That brought you to yours now.
Yeah.
You happy with where you live? I feel like you're gonna move soon.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's cozy now.
It's cozy. Yeah, obviously there's been some
Thank you,
upholds
Alyssa.
Yeah.
to it. But
Shout out to Sir.
at first, I guess, it was just different, man. I had chose a location because we had a lot of stuff. We took the big dining room table from our house in Florida. So I had all this stuff that was for a very large house
Yeah.
and put it into this 1,400 square foot apartment.
Uh-huh.
So that was different. And, we never even unboxed the first time. So I had no intention of unboxing the second time. I kind of
Yeah,
had like,
bro, you had shit packed up for a
PTSD.
year.
I'm like, oh man, I
Yeah.
want to unbox things, so I'm gonna have to box them again.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's a decent spot. It's not too far from everyone. So
Yeah.
I think that's good.
So your time being, I mean, your house is cozy now because of your beloved girlfriend.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, she did a great job on furnishing, decorating the house.
Decorating to make it not seem like a
Interior
Bachelor
design.
sure.
Great.
Obviously, in my apartment, I moved in with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
That situation was because when I moved back, we moved back in January, and then I had to go back, whatever. So I moved back in January to New Jersey for good for myself. And then me and Allie were in a relationship. We were just like sleeping over each other's houses. My mom didn't like that. My mom likes the old type of parenting, like respect type of thing. So I was like, I gotta get an apartment at this point. So I got an apartment, luckily, very conveniently to everything I need in my life.
Yeah.
We moved in with each other within like 6 months of dating, and we're about to hit 2 years. So things are going good in that aspect. But then going back to the dynamic of all of us, right? Well, now Grant is in Florida.
Yeah.
I am in Jersey, and so is Kyle. We still had some hiccups going on with, I guess, business relationships, right?
Everything.
Yeah, so I
Everything
want to ask
still.
an important question. I want you guys to be transparent. Just at this point in time, that's the only thing that's going to really work. You had let us know you were moving back.
Yep.
You made a decision. Hey, me and Shayna are going to stay put.
Yep.
What were your thoughts, I guess, individually? Maybe we had some conversations on the side. We were pissed a little bit, right?
Uh-huh.
We were a little upset. But I guess I'd like to hear everyone's individual thoughts of
Like the
what you thought
situation.
at the time. Like, I'm sure you were frustrated. There's emotions are running high. But what were some things that perhaps you didn't share at the time because you didn't feel confident in sharing, or maybe you were trying to kind of take some time to process and say, okay, this is truly how I feel?
Yeah. So for me, since I was kind of you guys came back and I didn't. That was huge. Looking back and seeing how I was feeling, like kind of looking from the outside in, I felt like almost like that part of the gang that like they were the one to be expected to just always follow, and it was kind of just like I was a secondary piece to the main puzzle. Obviously, like as I've grown, like I've seen like that's not the case. It's just shown differently from like how like our relationships are. But at the time, that's like how I was feeling. I felt like I wasn't being treated as like someone like as pivotal that they thought they were at the time. And then I got the offer from the whole Raw Revive umbrella to be like a key player in that. So like the dynamic of like feeling one way and then getting told from another party like this is what you'll get, really that's the enticing like factor. And then outside of that, it was just because for me I felt some type of way just because like I basically convinced Shayna to uproot her life, to remove herself from like her family, her friends, her current jobs, to just take a chance and move down to Florida. And then within 3 months it just went to shit, and now you have to move back. I wish I wasn't as egotistical and prideful to be like, no, like we're going to make it work. Like a part of me does wish I just cleaned my hands of it and then ended up just coming back. But then another half of me says like working for those companies at that time was actually a very important thing for me because it taught me how to even more so like the back end things for business wise in the field of what I do, and just like say for example like supplement products, online marketing, online digital products, YouTube. It taught me the back end of that and really how to succeed moving forward. Just because like we were working with like I guess the pinnacle of bodybuilding at that point, so like I could see a lot of things, and like I mean essentially what happened was like I helped create a superstar down there, so it really solidified my I guess premonition of like, okay, like am I good at what I do? Like was it just a fluke accident? Was it just something where like okay, I wasn't actually that important to the formula, but doing it again with another person helped solidify it in my head, where it's just like, okay, I know like if I have good chemistry and like everything's going good, like literally like magic can happen, because it happened in LA, happened in Florida, and that's why it really makes me excited for like now that I'm back finally for our upcoming offseason, upcoming Road to Pro series, because we have everything. We literally have all the variables that we had in LA. A little different. Like obviously we're not roommates because both of us have significant others, but like we're the next best thing.
Yeah,
We're in the
best thing we could possibly do.
neighbors.
I feel your starting point when you had worked with these two athletes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think they were both going to be great at
Yeah.
what they do. You guys had the potential to be great.
Yeah.
But you didn't start with them to where they are now. So now
No.
you're kind of coming back to
Yeah.
something where you realize, hey, if I wash, repeat,
Yeah.
I can make a superstar.
Yeah.
But now you have that superstar already.
Back.
So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what
How
can you do with
far-
that person now.
Yeah. So that's where I'm excited. Just because I guess like in the things of like how I asked you recently, like, do you regret anything about leaving Florida? my only regret was that I didn't communicate with you just like straightforward to the extent where it's like we could have maybe like saved the relationship a little bit, because for like a 4-month period, like, yeah, we said we were okay.
Yeah.
But, like, in all honesty, like, I literally felt like I lost like my little brother, my best friend, for like a 4-month time frame.
Yeah.
And it was to the point where it's like when I saw you at Universe, like I still felt the rift. So
I
once
remember that.
Want me to dive into that?
Yeah.
Sec?
Well, let's just complete this question. So
Yeah.
from your perspective,
Uh-huh.
what were your thoughts, man? With me, with him, with the situation? Like, what emotions would you say would classify how you were really feeling?
In Florida, the Florida thing?
Yeah, when you made a decision that, hey,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go back home, I'm gonna live by myself.
Yeah.
Right? Because we had a brief talk of like maybe we'll go back to Jersey and try this what we're doing in Florida in Jersey.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
last long. But what were your thoughts when you realized like, hey, like this isn't gonna work with Grant?
This is gonna work. Okay, so I'm trying to think. So I remember the time period, right? It was obviously with the house situation being hard and stressful and everything like that. I needed to be happy. I went back up to Jersey, and then when he proposed to me, let's sell the house because no one's happy here. I was like, okay. So I said, sure. I'm trying to think how I want to approach this. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just trying to think of like my thoughts, everything like that. So I remember like when we agreed we're gonna move back up to Jersey. Remember, you guys hit me with the conversation like, wait, we're gonna stay in Florida.
Yeah.
Now you're just going back up to Jersey, and I was like, oh fuck, that was like a blind side. I didn't know that was going on. So I was like, all right. I was like, I can't do anything. I'm not gonna tell you like to come up. I was like, okay, I guess, like whatever. I remember getting a moving truck, and then I was like, this is for everyone who's coming up to Jersey. I'm like, this is the best I could do.
Yeah.
I can't do anything more. Like, I got a moving truck for all of us. So I did that. I think what sucked was the communication part. What made it really hard was that, like, once again, like in the beginning, I didn't know girlfriends were coming, and maybe that was my fault for not understanding that. But I just wasn't experienced with the opposite gender connection, girlfriend, boyfriend, and that's kind of important to have them in your life like that, right? So you didn't have the best girlfriend at the time, which kind of made things kind of hard down there, which made it a little stressful. And then Grant, right, with you and Shayna, I just didn't even think that you were gonna bring her down there at first. And then when you finally committed to Florida, was at the point where I was already way done with Florida.
Yeah.
So then that's what made it hard, because then I think you made a promise to Shayna too. You were like, because like you felt like you were being like held on by like a rope type of thing, like a leash, where in reality it was like, fuck, I was over it. I was sad. I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then when you were finally ready to commit, because it was after the holidays, you were ready to commit to it, because you were going back and forth.
Yeah.
I was already done.
Yeah.
And then you just promised to Shayna. So then I was like, I can't be down here anymore. Like, I got to leave.
Yeah.
So I left. I just tried doing the best thing I possibly could, was paying for the cost of going back up there.
Yeah.
But then I understand where you needed stability. You needed things in your relationship to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And money and all that type of stuff. Because obviously with me, the situation going on in Florida, like social media for me took a hit.
Yeah.
Right. And then like obviously I paid Grant through social media and everything like that. So like that, having that stability through another company that you got offered, like it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried making it work the best we could between our relationship. I remember we were agreed upon like still editing and stuff like that. Obviously didn't have a filmer, which was hard for me at the time. And then what happened was, I remember you gave me like a false promise, right? So you're gonna move up to Jersey, which I think really hurt, which kind of pissed me off a couple months more later. Was that I remember we had like maybe like 2 or 3 conversations or like a couple FaceTimes in it. And one of them I was in Houston, and Grant called me and he was like, I'll always be there for you, man. I'll always be there for every show day. I'll be back up in Jersey. And then you're supposed to have a conversation with me in person, but that's the thing, like we kind of struggle communicating in person because we don't want to let each other down.
Yeah.
And you didn't have that conversation with me, right? So then he FaceTimed me and then admitted he was not coming back up to Jersey like you promised when we first left Florida, which was in January, February. And this was now already end of March. So I was like hurt. I remember like crying on the phone. I was like upset, right? And I think Grant cried too, maybe not, but he was upset too. And then he was like, yeah, I'll always be there for your show days. And come closer to actual show day happened, right? I'm trying to make my channel work the best it can. And Grant had to fulfill Vaughn's channel at the time. And he was also prepped a week beforehand. So then it came to a point where I think one of my videos like was not coming out, something like that. I need to get my video out. And then Grant kind of just like hit me. He was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm done. And I was like, fuck. I was like, okay. And then I asked him about the show day and stuff. I think he was ignoring me at first, something like that. And then he was like, I can't do your show day either. So I was like, all right, so you just lied about the promise you gave me? And that kind of hurt. And that's where we had like a 4-month period of like, it was kind of upset at each other, right?
Yeah.
So then that's when I found I had to figure out what to do with my channel. So I was trying to figure out what was best for me, and that's when I actually hired now one of Grant's friends, Zach. I call him Dropset all the time, but Dropset was hired. He was a good editor. He was awesome. He was cool. And then when show day came around, I remember like I didn't want to see Grant. I was like, I'm pissed, right?
Yeah.
So Grant gave me a note. I remember like I read it and stuff like that. But like, I'll be honest, I was like, I want to fucking throw this out. Like I was pissed as shit. I still have the note, but I was very angry. And then luckily Ryan Casey was there again. Shout out Ryan. He helped me film that show day. He did a really good job on that, actually filming it. So yeah, it was a weird situation. And then I guess I don't hold a grudge because obviously we're here now, right?
Yeah.
So then as time went on, I'm trying to piece together the time period now. I'm kind of drawing a blank. So that was last summer. I took a break from YouTube. I was just like, I was in a weird situation, right? I didn't have someone to film me. Now I was super serious from getting one off from my pro card. I was like, fuck, I want to grow. And that was kind of hard for me to do my own content at the time because, I mean, I didn't really have anyone I was training with. I was getting frustrated with Allie behind the camera because she wouldn't get the angles or the correct thing or know how to work it properly. So I was like, you know what? For the sake of my relationship with my girlfriend, for the sake of my sanity, for the sake of me being happy in the gym, which is the one thing I look forward to every day, I'm not going to film for YouTube. Best thing I could do because I was training really hard. I was growing. And then I'd get videos out here and there. And then I'm trying to think, what type of content did I even post? I don't remember.
You didn't post really much, man. You kind of disappeared for a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
You came
Which
back
was-
once you got
When did I come back?
Zach.
Oh yeah. So
You took a
then,
big hiatus. You had tried a couple of different people, and it just didn't.
yeah, nothing
You
clicked.
were
Nothing.
really trying to fill what wasn't just a cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a friendship.
Yeah.
And I think it took you a while to probably accept, like, all right, that's what I'm trying to fill, and like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to find that unless it's this person.
I guess it wasn't even a friendship. I was looking for like with the kid Zach, right?
Just like
I was looking for a
the-
friend, the chemistry, someone good behind
Chemistry,
the camera
yeah.
that
Knowing what
understood my
shots to
vision,
get.
what shots, know how to capture this moment, know that this is what I want from my fitness content, right?
Someone who understood your humor too. That's huge.
Yeah. So that was a struggle. So I tried the kid Zach for a bit, didn't work, as I mentioned, and then once again I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm now in a very good phase of growing. It'd be awesome to document it, but I just can't document it correctly the way I want to. I'd get frustrated, I'd get upset. I wouldn't have as good of workouts, whatever it was. I was like, I'm just going to bite the bullet again. And then I guess I was a firm believer that not that Grant would come back, but I was just like, I knew like somewhere down the line it would happen again. I could be cheesy, could be a little soft here. But I remember like when we were walking in LA one time, we were like, oh yeah, Road to Olympia series one day. This would be sick to do.
Yeah.
So I always knew at some point in time it would happen. I didn't think it would happen this quick, to be honest.
Yeah.
I remember at my birthday dinner, that was a complete surprise.
You knew. For so
That was the
long.
joke. I think like my sister or my dad like told me like Grant asked like if you would hire him back, something like that, and I was like, it was supposed to like kept a secret from me or something like that, but like I think
Yeah.
they told me. I don't know. I was like, yeah. And then other people were telling me about it, and like then we had a conversation about it, and it kind of happened. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I miss what we have. Like it'd be awesome, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
it kind of happened, right?
Yeah.
Anything like someone else want to take over and talk about that story?
To be honest, it kind
Yeah.
of happened. It literally happened pretty fast because I want to
Yeah.
say like like we started talking about it maybe what like June.
June of when? This year?
Yeah.
Was it?
It was like because I remember
May,
the timeline of it was like okay, we talked about it week 1. By week 4, I'm talking to my apartment.
Oh yeah, kinda
Telling them-
quick. It was like maybe like 9 weeks type of thing, like a little over 2 weeks,
It
2
happened
months.
quick, but I think the
It-
reality is just based on the prior interactions that we all had.
Yeah.
You had mentioned again previously when you decided to stay down there.
Yeah.
You had mentioned okay, like maybe I'll come up in a few months. It's just be for a few months.
Yeah.
And like we didn't. At first we were optimistic, but then we realized kind of full of shit. Like you're not going to come up because it'd be stupid for you to come up based
Yeah.
on everything,
What's
all
down
the
there.
opportunities you had to explore down there and become a better
Yeah.
individual.
And for me, I kind of felt like
Yeah.
I tapped that well pretty dry at that point, especially given where like I still love all the companies. Like I will never like this isn't me talking down on them at all. Just for me personally as a creative individual, I was noticing that I was having to basically be just like a certain piston or gear in a big machine where I notice myself as a creative, I thrive when it's something like when I work with an athlete or I work with a certain individual, and it's both of us just having fun, letting the creativity out, and like everything's just going.
Yeah.
Whereas like, okay, I'm just part of a machine where it's like my input was put here, but at the end of the day, when you look back at the company page in like 5 years, you're not going to know who the fuck made that if you didn't keep up with the company. So for me, I was kind of just burnt out there, and I was just like, you know what? I definitely just wanted to, because I was also homesick, because not only was I missing you guys, but like I was missing my mom, I was missing my brother. Like for me, it was like from January 1st, 2021 all the way up until like last month. Like I've been gone for like over 2 years. And for me, like I'm a very family oriented person. So it just felt like a really good time to come home. And then who started that conversation? Was it you or me, where it was just like, hey man, what's the odds of like wanting to work together again?
I think I did, honestly. I think maybe what I heard through the grapevine. I think I got like, I remember actually like taking the shot. Yeah. And I was like, would you come up here again? Would you take a job again? And then you're like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we started talking shit, and not shit, but talking numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And then I mean, hey, it fucking happened. We're here, right?
Yeah, we're here.
So
now that brings us, I guess, to where we are now, trying to get things back up and going on social media, right? My social media. Obviously, I'm in a weird situation now where I can't really train, so I'm still getting my content out there. It's not as good as I'd like it to be, to my standard that I just mentioned, I guess, in the beginning of the podcast, where I have my vision, where I can train again for the vlogs and shit like that. So, like, I'm excited to do that. Like, do I feel fully happy with my content right now? No. Like, I want to be way better. I want to be better than I ever was in LA, better than anything. I want to bring something new coming to prep, coming to the off season. So I'm excited for it. That was loud as shit. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Because I mean, even just like right before you stop training, like that little 5 video spurt of like coming back, like the return and like the feedback on it was great.
Yeah.
So I definitely think once you do come back to training, and especially once people start seeing how much you're growing through this next phase of your off-season push, and then leads right into a road to pro, like I honestly think like the numbers are just going to start popping again.
You hear that, Kyle? We got to grow in this off season. It means no baby dosages. Did you hear what I said?
No.
That means no baby dosages. That means we're taking the most than ever possible a human can consume.
Natty.
Okay.
What?
We're going to stay natural.
Obviously, I'm
We'll
not.
see. We'll consider.
We'll
Sorry.
consider. Okay.
Now we're gonna get a Greg Doucette video saying, "Anthony pushing the dosages." It was a joke,
That'd be
Greg.
dope. But other than that, is there anything else you want to kind of cover, or is that for at least this episode like a good wrap? We're at the hour mark, so it's up to you guys.
You want to discuss? You want me to discuss injuries and all that?
Discuss what? Sorry.
Injuries?
And all that.
I guess so. Yeah. So, I mean, you're the injured one. Man.
You lead with a question or something. I don't know. So you can cut it better.
Are you stopping the camera?
I think he's got to redo it. Yeah.
Damn, that girl's hot. Said, damn, that girl's hot. All right. Shake your butt cheeks.
Shake your butt cheek.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle.
All right.
Are you gonna ask the question?
Sure, I'll ask the question, Kyle. Mental health through all of this, man. There's been some crazy times. But to even add on to these times have been some blindsided injuries.
Indeed.
Which injury was the worst on your mental? You have 2 injuries. You have your tricep.
Oh, it's got to be your
And then you
tricep.
have your leg. I'm going to go with the tricep as my guess. Because that one was like, fuck, I just finished an injury. I just got this again.
Yeah, so it's tough, man. I think starting with the quad injury, obviously no one could have seen that really coming. You know, you can look back and say, oh, you shouldn't have did it. But at the time, I don't go into anything thinking the worst.
Uh-huh.
Being those last obstacle, you know, it's ironic to say the least.
Yeah.
But that was really challenging because the first time I think you don't realize how much you need your quad to do.
Yeah.
So just being able to walk around, you know, I couldn't live at my home for 2-month time span to where I was.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I had to live at someone else's house. So shout out to DeGrant or
This is 2
Housing
shout outs
me.
for the kid, Ant.
two.
We shouted him out last episode.
Dude, I remember the time
that.
I remember the time I visited you. Bro, you have a fly on your shoulder like this whole episode.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're just chilling.
Sorry. He likes me.
But
Yeah, me
So
too.
that was really hard, man. So I was just kind of happy to clean my life up after that. I think that
Yeah.
was a moment in time. I guess I try to always seek why something happens.
Yeah.
What can I learn from that opportunity that I
Yeah.
was given? So obviously it was very unfortunate to say the least. I couldn't go in the gym anymore. It came right after a really high in my life.
Yeah.
Universe, I think with Vaughn, James, and you doing really well. Mm-hmm. I was happy, right? Everything was kind of growing. Coaching wise, obviously things were only on the uprise, and then that kind of, I'm not gonna say it scared me, but it opened my eyes to realize like, wow, I need to kind of slow down.
Yeah.
I got hurt because maybe I need to take a pause in life and clean some other aspects up, which is what I look at the injury as.
yeah.
So then as I finally kind of got through that, I happened to meet my now girlfriend was very supportive. I missed that initial rehab phase to where, I went to PT, but I wasn't active with working on my leg the way I'm working on my tricep because I was just grateful to be able to walk again. Then I think we got back into training for maybe a 6-week run where I was, all right, cool, I can get back in the gym feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the tricep happens and it's just like, damn, man, like maybe this is it. Like maybe I'm not supposed to train anymore.
Do you remember that workout we had where you like hurt something? We were shoulder pressing.
shoulder,
I think
yeah.
it was your shoulder. Wasn't your tricep?
Nah,
it wasn't
my
your elbow.
shoulder.
Okay.
No,
I just- I-
I tweaked something, so I was like, okay, I got to kind of take today easy. Came back, I think 2 weeks later, because that was before I took a trip across the world for a week and
Yeah.
a half, I think. And then the tricep happened, and that was it was depressing, man. I'll be honest with you, right? I had a really good support system to kind of get me through that, but any thought you could think of having, like I had it for sure. I thought
Suicidal.
I was done. It was just like, I'm not gonna say I was suicidal, but it was really
Very
depressing.
depressing,
Man.
yeah.
Like, because I was just getting back. Like, fine, I can get back to what I want to look like.
Yeah.
I think
And then
anyone that
that-
gets into
yeah.
bodybuilding and fitness, body dysmorphia is a real thing. So I'm a big foodie. I like to eat cookies
Yeah.
and all those kind of things. And I realized I couldn't do that anymore because I was always someone that would do cardio 6 days a week, whether I'm in prep, not in prep.
Yeah.
Lose
Just so
my
you could
leg, I
eat.
can't do cardio anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do the hand bike. That wasn't me,
No.
right? So
Have you done cardio since or no?
yeah, I started doing cardio again.
Oh, nice.
How's it feel?
So-
Is it like
It's okay.
Yeah.
What do you do,
realize I can
elliptical?
maintain- No, I do the stairs.
Oh
I
wow,
have
that's
a
really
Stairmaster
good on
in
your
my garage,
wow.
so that's real helpful.
that kind of
Oh,
definitely helps.
Remember that Stairmaster?
Yeah, so that got me through prep that last 4 weeks.
That was from Florida, so that's funny.
Yeah.
But the tricep was devastating. I guess it was just like, why? Like I
Yeah.
tried to
Why
find a
again?
reason why now?
Yeah.
All the things. I got my life really. Everything is piecing together very well. Recovered from this
Quad.
poor decision, I guess, with Florida.
Yeah.
Being disappointed on how that turned out. But I guess I've just been more active with the rehab with my triceps, so it's definitely further along.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have to still take it easy because I can bang things up real quick if I get back
Yeah.
into it. But yeah, mentally that was the hard part. So I'm excited to kind of get back in the gym. I'm eager, but at the same time, I'm also realizing by taking a step back, like what I care more about is how you guys do, how everyone else does.
Yeah.
Seeing you guys back together, like to me, like I find happiness in seeing things like that, as opposed to myself. Hey, I may hit a new PR
Train,
today, or
yeah.
a new high in weight. I look a certain way.
Uh huh.
I'm hopeful and optimistic that I'll return to form and be able
Yeah.
to kind of train with everyone the way I want to train. But yeah, I just have a different approach. Definitely when I go back in the gym, I'm not scared of training because I never got hurt training, right? I had like little nagging things that would pop up, but I never got seriously injured training, so I'm not too discouraged about getting back through that mental barrier. But I just want to approach things. If something happens again, like third time's a charm, like then I got to kind of hang it up for sure. So I'm going to be very weary going in terms of how I'm going to
Approach
structure
training.
things.
Yeah.
Definitely really paying attention to execution and the tempo and stuff like that. Not doing exercises that are just not worth the risk.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Damn.
yeah.
That's a good thing to always keep in mind. I mean, I feel like once you start training again, you're just gonna go ballistic. You're just gonna go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
you're at a good point, man. I think
So-
you can.
You've been itching.
All right, so here's my perspective, right? Obviously, I'm not injured, but I'm time off the gym right now due to a surgery, which I've been testing out my nipples every day. I'm touching them. They're still sensitive.
Yeah.
They're a lot better. Because last week, I was running a football with like Allie's, it's not a family friend, and I extended a little too far to catch the football, and I felt like the stitches or that area where the stitches are stretch. and I was like, ooh, okay, be careful. And then I've been like increasing my range of motion a lot. And I think next week is my 4-week mark. I have a call with my doctor, and he obviously will say like, oh, go ahead, go back in the gym, maybe start with the legs or whatever. I have the mentality, I'm just like, I want to go back in on my split I want to do and just train. But I'm biting the bullet, and I will start with just like legs and arms for like the week or two, and then go back into a split, which is going to kind of suck. But like, all right, it's better than where I'm at now. Because, I'm eager to go back into this. My weight has been good. I haven't had any bad mental health this last month, 3 weeks. I've been very happy. I've been finding happiness in other parts of life. My body, I'm like, I look good still. All right. Am I as full or as bodybuilder looking I was? No. But when I go to the beach that I go to, I get people like giving me thumbs up or like looking at me. And I'm like, all right, like I know I don't look bad. So that's cool. And then funny enough, when I was doing cardio this morning, I watched a video about fitness influencers and body dysmorphia. It came up on my page, and they were talking about fitness influencers like Tristan Lee talking about how he has body dysmorphia and he's like shredded year round, right? And I really thought to myself, I was like, wow, do I have body dysmorphia? And I don't. I really don't think I do. I'm competitive with myself because I want to improve my physique and be good on the stage. But in terms of like my physique, like I'm not afraid to take off my shirt. I'm not afraid to take it off in public. I'm not afraid or think that like I look small today. Am I aware that maybe like, I'm smaller than I was when I was training and, when I was on cycle? Yeah, but it's not eating me alive. Mm-hmm. I'm aware, but I'm not getting hurt from
crippled by it.
Yeah. So that makes me happy. I'm excited to train. Really am.
Oh, that's good, man. I think it's good to have that. I mean, had I told you before you had that surgery, right, that you had to take 4 weeks off, I don't know if you'd be able to take 4 straight weeks off. I think it would be very difficult.
I think this was a good time period for me to have that because I'm happy I did do it, right? Because you were telling me not to at first. I'm happy I did because this is... So remember, you gave a plan to Allie saying when we go into prep, you're going to take a week off before training. And I was like, bro, if Cup put that on my plan, I'd be like, fuck that. But how my body felt after a week of not training from the surgery, it felt fresh again. Yeah. Super fresh. To the point where even I see myself, like, did I lose muscle? Maybe a little bit. No. Nothing substantial that I won't gain back in a couple of weeks of training, and more because my body feels so much better that I'll be able to do movements I wasn't able to do. Right? Remember I was complaining about my hips, my leg, all that type of stuff?
Mobility,
so like, that 1 week of like time off, I was able to use my lower back again and sit down normally.
Yeah,
so
and I think a positive takeaway from me getting injured, right, is I always want to be able to relate and put myself in the person's shoes. And honestly, I couldn't say, hey, I was working through an injury such as the ones I've experienced. Now I can, right? So when someone says, oh, my life is over, I can't compete anymore, you can get back to it. So that's what I strive for now, is to get back to where I was,
be
past
the
where
example.
I was, and lead by example.
Yeah.
And in terms of what I learned from that is the importance of recovery.
Yeah.
Perhaps all of these injuries happened, not so much running into the wall. That was a little excessive. That was just like a unfortunate event.
Yeah.
But perhaps there are things lingering that because I didn't work on my mobility, I never slept that much, as you guys know. That was probably factors that contributed to that likelihood of that happening.
Yeah.
That's why I stay on top of you now, like, hey, get body work done, because I want to be able to not have you get injured, especially in the gym, right? Most times things happen outside the gym. A lot of injuries do. That's unfortunate, but as long as you really are serious about bodybuilding, you need to keep your head like in the gym. There are certain things that you might have been able to do, run around playing soccer. Don't do that, because at some point, as you get too heavy, it's just not worth what happens. And it's like, dude, that 5% chance of tearing your ACL, well, guess what? Like, that'll mess a lot of things up.
I played soccer one day in November on a rest day. It was a sunny day in November. It was hot. So me, let's go to the soccer field, let's kick a ball around. As soon as I got on the field, I decided to kick a goal. I like hurt my hip adductor for 3 months, 4 months. And I was like, that was so stupid from kicking the ball. Like, oh, no, my body's not made to play that stuff anymore.
Damn.
So, no, injuries, as much as even with the lesson that we just learned from the Florida situation, right? As much as they suck in the time period that's going on, time does heal things, because you realize, okay, you reflect, you realize that this was poor. We could communicate better. We could do this X, Y, Z better, so this situation doesn't happen again. Yeah, So like, the Florida thing sucked for all of us. We learned a lot. We can be better than that. And it's just like the injuries, right? Not to do stupid shit you're not capable of doing. I technically didn't get injured besides the soccer thing. Yeah. And
I mean, so does that mean, do you have the urge to compete in the near future? Like once you're healed up and like,
Yeah, is that a goal you want to do now?
would
wanna
you
be
ever
like,
want to step back on stage just because?
I want to be able to have that decision. So
Okay.
what
Okay.
that means is
Yeah.
it puts me in a position where, hey, if I do compete, I'll be better than I was last time. But
yeah.
my main goal is to still lead by example in
Yeah.
the gym training wise and still bury people.
oh god,
That's
Sick.
what I want, right? So that's what I'm chasing right now. That's my goal. That's why
Yeah.
I'm eager to get back. And I think,
Doable.
what keeps me focused is, again, right now, like, my mission for 2024 is, like, he has to win. And if
Yep.
he loses, like, I failed. That's
Okay.
what I really look at.
who has to win?
You do.
What?
Who has to win?
You.
So he's putting
Isn't
pressure
it-
on himself.
Isn't it 2024 I'm competing?
That's what I said.
His goal in 2024.
Oh, this is 2023. My bad.
Yeah.
Damn,
So
that's a lot of pressure.
I guess last question or last thing to talk about before we wrap it up, because we are at hour 17 mark. What is your biggest goal to finish out this year, both of you? What are things like, because we only have like 5 months left, or what?
A little less than half a year.
Yeah, a little less than half a year.
You want to start?
24?
I'll start.
Okay, pal.
So my goal is to get back to the standard I set for myself on social media to be where I previously was at, or if not more. To be better at social media than I ever was before, which I've talked to Grant about with how we
Yeah.
want to do that. So social media goals I have for myself, because that's obviously a term of how I make money on this. With the gym, I've been progressing like every month throughout this year. So I want to continue that trajectory, and I want to not necessarily hit a weight goal I never hit before, but a heavy weight and great conditioning that I've never hit before in an off season. So I capped out at 229, but I was definitely like hurting in the morning. I had some like, stomach going on. I'd like to be like 230 at the leanness I was around 222. I think that'd be cool. So yeah, I guess just a successful off season, last push, and then have a successful YouTube going on, Instagram, and TikTok. I want to get into TikTok.
You want to get in TikTok?
Yeah. So those are my goals. Kyle, what's your goals?
My goals. So I want to continue to level up. I want to be healthier,
Yeah.
mentally, physically,
Yeah.
financially. I think, contrary to what many might probably believe, I'm very camera shy. I
Yeah.
have a hard time always getting in front of the camera, sharing my insight, my beliefs.
So
my
this is a good
perspective.
stepping stone for you.
And this is like a stepping stone
Yeah.
that I think.
Oh,
You
I
okay,
thought,
buddy?
I thought this thing was falling. I heard a noise out there. I was ready to catch it. What was that?
It was
quick,
something
quick
rolling
reaction
by.
you had there.
That was good,
it
right?
Behind the door. I don't know. But what did I say? Oh,
Camera
camera
shy.
shy. So
Yes.
I think it's a stepping stone to kind of put me out there. Now that you're back, I always have excuses, right?
Yeah.
I was injured. He's
Yeah.
not filming.
Oh, I'm a
Now you're back, so it's kind of like I have no excuse. And if I can't do it now, again, the window's closing. We're all getting older.
Yeah.
Who knows what 5 years brings for a lot of us? That's the reality. And every time we have a plan, I'm just ready to adjust now. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at what I learned, our mishaps. How can we not have that happen again? And getting to that next step. So that's what I really want to seek. And then, at least bodybuilding wise, again, I want to get back to. I want to look by the end of the year like I want to look better than Anthony. That's my goal.
Damn, man. My goal is always chasing you.
Yeah.
So I have to continue to chase myself.
Yes.
Grant, you're back here in Jersey now permanently. It's not vacation like some people may have thought.
Yeah.
So what do you look to achieve? We have 4 months remaining, less than 4 months remaining in this whole year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
4.5.
So,
Wait, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 4.5 is the 15th.
so I have like, I guess, three categories of goals.
September, October.
3 categories. It would be self, work, and then like photo film, I guess. So for myself, when it comes to like bodybuilding, I mean, when I think about like on a 1 to 10 scale of how much effort I'm putting in, like I'm probably putting in like a 3. And like, but like 3 as in like, it's not hard in terms of like my meal plan's very systemic. Like I'm doing cardio, I'm doing everything. I just haven't given like enough time in my day to like really focus on it. So I do want to like bump that up a little bit, maybe hit like 215, like at a decent composition by the end of the year. And then for my YouTube, I want to see how far I could push. I'm not going to have a subscriber count goal. I just want to see how much progress I can make from the 100 days, because I think the 100 days will end like right before the end of the year. And then for work, my biggest, obviously, like my priority here is Ant. So his goal is essentially
goal
my
too?
goal, just because we've been that duo ever since LA, and it's like I want to see him go further. Like, yes, we're working from a lower spot than what we were in LA, but I do believe, and like I know, like in the next coming months and leading into 2024, like we'll take it even further to like where we just were. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the year, I want to have like a storyboard written, because I want to actually like submit a short film revolving around like fitness and cinematography into like a Sundance like film festival, or just like a film, like Tribeca, like a film festival.
That's cool.
So those are my goals. So
Very nice. I like them all.
yeah. But who wants to outro this? I think Kyle should, just
Yeah, let's see it.
to hear how he does it.
Should I touch on our sponsors as well?
Sure.
If you'd like to.
All right, guys. So that concludes episode 2 of Iron Bros. Today we had a third. Our trio was in full effect today with Grant. Let us know if you guys enjoy him behind the mic. We don't really care if you don't, because he'll be here. With that said, you'll see some of us are wearing our Young LA apparel. We have the new hats that are dropping. I really don't know the date. Depends when this comes out.
The
So they
18th
might have
Thursday.
dropped.
They already dropped.
Yeah, they already dropped.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did, because no, in
This is
time of
coming out next
recording, yeah.
Oh. So I guess it doesn't matter. But in the future, if you guys like these, I forgot what they call these shirts.
Chrome tees,
The chrome
Simplicity
tees.
tees.
That's pretty old, so don't worry about Anthony. But all of us have codes at Young LA. My code is Sir. We have code Grant, and we have code Ant. Use in that order, please.
Wow. Wow.
Jokes aside, thank you guys. Please like, subscribe,
Yeah.
and comment for what you want to see in the future. Anthony, you seem to have a smile on your face. I'm not really sure why, so why don't you share with us before we leave?
The outro is amazing, Kyle. Thank you. No more to say. Let's go. That's it.
I like the energy.
The pronunciation, like I said in the beginning, is also starting with me.
I really don't know what that means, but we'll look into it next time.